Coming to you live from Nashville. Welcome to the Green Room with Jade Million. I am sitting here today with Tim Weber, and I heard you talking to my producer Adam out there, and you said something interesting. You're a middleman of the music industry, right?
Without a doubt. That's how I've described myself for probably 10 years now, and I didn't realize until a couple years ago that people thought I was a drug dealer when I was saying that. And nobody actually even told me that.
No, because that would make so much sense.
Yeah. Middleman in the music industry. Okay, you bring him drugs. No,
so he's not a drug dealer,
not
guys.
a drug dealer.
Not a drug dealer.
No.
Drug doer? No.
I mean, you know what? Yeah.
You know,
without a doubt.
Sometimes.
Yes.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to have you on.
I'm honestly thrilled for this. I normally am not a huge fan of being on podcasts, mainly because I don't have a lot of information on me out there, and I feel like their questions are normally just around like the music blog or something, but I've been very excited for this because I'm a watcher and a fan of yours as a human being, so yeah, very thrilled.
Thank you. So you are, would you say you're like co-founder of Grouped?
Yep.
Okay, so explain Grouped to us for those who don't know.
Yeah, so Grouped started off like everything where I'm just trying to help my friends. And so my friends John Kilmer and Mike had started a subscription company called Only Steve's around the time that I was helping Mike shop around his catalog. And when I saw the success that they were having, my first thought was like, this is awesome. I have tons of other friends who would want to do the same thing, but the platform they're on is terrible. And so normal middleman Tim is, I don't want to start a business. So the first thing I did was meet with the founder of Patreon, meet with the founder of Substack, met with the founder of OnlyFans. I was trying to find a platform that would basically just let me like white label their tech and use it just for artists. Because one of the things I've found over the last 15 years is that a lot of these platforms that are good for solo entrepreneurs or podcasters or stuff are just not right for artists because artists are a unique breed. And unfortunately, I couldn't get any of those companies to really believe that artists were worth the squeeze. And
which is wild.
Yeah, which was nuts, and which led me to, right when I was about to give up, I got introduced to a dude named Finn who had kind of built the tech that we needed for his wife, Claire, who's kind of like a young Martha Stewart in a way. And they had been using it successfully for her for a little over a year, but they hadn't gotten anybody else to use the platform. And so when I met him, I saw the tech and I was like, hey, I think we should target artists. He said, let's see what you can do. I brought Somo and Michael Manelli on within a week. And by the end of that week, we agreed to be 50-50 partners. And my first thought was, with my 50%, I get to do whatever I want. And so I'm going to go to Mike and Kilmer and Nick D, and I'm going to bring them in. And I'm going to have them help me build the platform. Because what I was trying to do was solve a problem for Mike and Kilmer with how do we build community with this fan base that we're cultivating. And rather than me guess how to do that, it was kind of like, let me just have them tell me what to build.
Yeah.
And we'll build it. And so over the last 4 years, we started as kind of that Patreon alternative. And now where we've landed is kind of this bridge between discovery and super fandom. So if a fan discovers you on social media or on your Twitch stream or on a TikTok stream or however they're discovering you, you got their curiosity, but they may not be ready to buy something. So like, what do you do with that person?
Yeah.
And so the idea is if you can get them off of social media to a place where you can reach them directly, then you start nurturing them and rewarding them. So that way, when you are ready to sell a ticket or sell merch, they're there, you can reach them directly and it's ready. And then you can keep the curious fans in the same place as your super fans and not have to like alienate them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we just finished our almost 5th year. We started in 2021 and it's well outgrown what I'm capable of, which is why even though I am the co-founder and largest equity holder, I'm not even the CEO. And a lot of people find that fascinating, but that's not my skill set. I'm not driven by business. I don't like business. I don't like money. I don't like that stuff. So
yeah. Yeah, from like an artist perspective, you know, when I heard about what y'all were doing, so I've always been a huge advocate of subscription platforms for artists. And like you said, I mean, there was a couple that were available to me, and I felt kind of at a loss for like being able to target people for my music. Like you said, you know, I could offer all types of content, but at the end of the day, my ultimate goal in life is, you know, to be a massive music artist. And I really wanted something that felt, you know, like a home for my fans that I was making on stream. And by being on live stream and fully supporting my career off of it, you know, I realized like these people are already, you know, gifting me every single night, giving me money. So clearly, like I could move them to a platform where I could offer them something in return that felt a little bit more exclusive. So I was just like, this is so synchronistic for me because I actually love business and I think it's an amazing business move. I really, you know, recommend to any artist with any kind of fan base to start a page on Grouped because, I mean, it's just like such a great way for artists to make money. And I think that what I've seen even in doing this podcast, a lot of artists that come through are struggling with that aspect of things. I feel really lucky to have found, you know, TikTok Live and have had so much success with it. But I mean, any artist out there should have a subscription platform, in my opinion.
I mean, I think there's a lot of common misconceptions with it that prevent artists. And I think one of the biggest ones is most artists are already overwhelmed trying to just keep up with social media, get discovered, and be consistently releasing music, that the idea of doing another thing is just easier to say no. It's like, I'm still trying to figure these other two out. How do I make music that's good consistently? And then how do I crack this social media game? And so I think the misconception's like, you have to do more for Grouped. And it's really just like, this is the home for the more that you're probably already doing. Like in order to have that 30-second reel, you probably have a 5-minute video that was taken to cut the 30 seconds. That's where it can live. Or like if you are going to give your time, like a live stream or something, it's kind of like, hey, it's not right all the time for Instagram or even for TikTok and stuff because you have to be on because this is sometimes people's first impression of you versus doing it with people that already know you and then you can be way more relaxed. And it's like,
even with like previewing or premiering new music, I think it's an amazing place to do that. Sometimes I feel like when I premiere my new music on live stream, it's not necessarily the best place just because like you said, you know, a lot of these people don't even know who I am. And it's a very like sensitive thing as an artist and it's very personal and intimate. So I think, you know, knowing that like those fans on there are going to eat up like whatever you're showing them, even if it's like something totally not in line with what you're currently doing. Like I just put a song on there that I never released and it's really not in the era of music that I'm currently working on, but like they're so happy on there because the song is out for them.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And you already did the work of making the song.
Exactly.
So
the song was just sitting in my Dropbox.
It's not extra work. And a lot of the stuff that fans love, artists don't think that it's entertaining because we get jaded. So it's like,
for sure.
What? Nobody wants to see how I made the song, or nobody wants because you don't want to see that for another artist. But it's like that's what fans actually really want. If if you got their attention and you got them wanting more, just give them the more. Chances are, don't let it just sit in a Dropbox and never be heard. So
absolutely. Yeah, I really recommend all artists out there checking out Grouped because not only is it just an awesome, you know, website and platform, but like the community that you guys are building here in Nashville. I've been here for 10 years and it's not been, you know, the easiest journey for me. First of all, I'm like a black sheep here. Like I don't do country music. And I know nowadays it's becoming much more normal, but when I moved here, like it was, people were like, what are you doing here? Like
that's part of the reason why I moved here. I moved here the first time in 2010 and it was because the only genre I didn't work with was country. Yeah. Country and metal. And it was like, I'm going to go somewhere where I can stand out because when the rappers come through here or EDM artists or pop artists, I will actually be able to stand out and get time with them and be able to go to the shows and like it's taken a while to see the culmination of it, but I think the community that we've been building and the headquarters and the energy that is there is starting to really, every day is just so fun.
Yeah, it's like palpable. Like the energy, like every time I go there, I texted Steph yesterday, and we'll talk about Steph, which is Steph your fiance or wife? Wife.
She's my wife.
Steph, I love you.
She's my wife. She's basically the one that runs my life.
Yeah.
She's HR. She's
amazing.
the GOAT.
I texted her.
She's the GOAT. Yes, you are.
Yes, she is. We love you, Steph. I just texted her the other day, just saying like, I just had such a great day here. Like, thank you guys for like what you're doing, and it's really, really cool to just feel genuine support and community and friendship. Like, I think that this industry can be competitive and dog eat dog and all that, but it doesn't really have to be. And I think because of the people like leading over there, you guys are all very about, those core values. It just bleeds through into all your artists who work over there. And that is the standard, and it's just like the coolest vibe. And I am in the same exact mindset. I moved to Nashville to like be a big fish in a small pond. That was kind of my mindset. And obviously like that's the road less traveled, but I think it's over time very rewarding. And yeah, you guys are just like really standing out. I think people are seeing what, y'all are about and what you guys are doing. And I think people are really intrigued by it and want to be a part of it.
Yeah, to me, that's kind of the fun part with it, is like the mystery behind it. I mean, like even the building, like there's not signs. There's nothing that you would know. And like, it's kind of, you gotta know, but like once you get in the circle, and that's very intentional of like, if you do know it and you are inside, it's kind of like you've already gotten the stamp of approval, which means when you go in there, you're only going to get good people.
Yeah.
And that's like to keep it that safe space, and also to not lead with like business and contracts and all this stuff.
Oh, you guys are not about that at all.
There's so many other places in Nashville as Music City that's like, you have to be signed to us to use this studio. You have to work with this person, or whatever it is. And ours is just kind of like, just come see it for yourself. Mm-hmm. Let's get to know each other. And then if there is business to do, we're going to do it together and we'll make it work. But also, it's not just grouped. I mean, shout out Ryan Wynn and
Ryan, my videographer.
Yeah, the Winning Productions team. That's really the reason that space exists, and where
they're awesome too.
Yeah, just can't. Forever grateful that Ryan took a leap on me, just kind of being like, hey, instead of this being a co-working space, let's do the opposite and make it like super exclusive.
Yeah.
And like, I'll pay you to make sure we don't have a bunch of random people come
Right. Yeah. Another thing I said to Steph was just like, it's really helping me break out of my shell. I think for especially like someone like me, I feel like I work really well solo, and I've always been that way, and I'm like comfortable, and I'm not the artist that's, in the writers' rooms on Music Row from 9 to 5, like cranking out songs. Like, it's just not my style. So, and I feel like that separation for me, it's been hard to network and kind of get in the industry here. And you guys are like creating your own, which, I mean, that's just so in line with everything I do.
And that's thanks to people like you. I mean, like, you're as much part of the headquarters and the energy there as I would say myself or Ryan or anybody else. Like, you believe in it.
I do.
It's palpable, and it's been really cool just to get to know you and watch your progression.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was talking to you about this a little bit earlier, but at the top of the year, we had a call, and I feel like for me, I live by this quote of like, don't take advice from people you don't want to be like, right? So
So don't take it. So you did the opposite of what I said.
No, I love what you guys have done, obviously, and we'll talk about this more, but like you work with Mike, and I really like how his career has played out. And I really want to kind of model like my own career after that, because I think my ultimate goal is to feel really like fulfilled and balanced as a music artist. In an industry that's just so not that for most people.
That's the rarest thing, and that's like the most powerful thing that you could have said. Like, that's everything. Being balanced and fulfilled. That's what life is. And like, you should feel that in your art. You should feel that you're lucky to get up and get to do what you want, and that you're happy to do it with the people you are. Like, nobody's forcing anybody to do anything, and it's really cool to hear you say that. Just that, like, that's the goal.
Oh, for sure. And I think it took me a while to get there. Like, I think in my early 20s, I felt like there was a clock and I felt like I had to do things a certain way. But as I've gotten older and just like the amount of joy that I experience on a day to day, like doing things how I want them to be done and seeing that I can still be successful, like doing things, you know, how I kind of want to and how I know that will ultimately be good for my mental health. I feel like when I came to you at the top of this year and I was kind of like, listen, I'm ready to like get to that next level and I'm struggling because I feel like I have way too much on my plate and just like too much pressure. How can you kind of help me and what advice can you give? And we got on a call and you were like, what is like the biggest thing right now that you feel like is just eating at you? And I was like, well, creating content every day. Like that, I think all artists have this constant thing, like they're on the back of their shoulder that's like, you got to post today. What are you going to post today? Okay, you got to not only figure out an idea, you have to film it, and then you have to edit it, and you have to post it every day. And like that was really stressful for me last year.
And every time you have to do that, you have to open the app and play the comparison game where immediately, even though you're going to post, you're seeing other people's and you're immediately feeling bad about where you are. And then after you post, people say to post and ghost it, but it's important to be responding to the comments right away. Yeah. And you know right away whether or not the video is doing well. And then it's like, it's just this awful thing that even if you're doing the work, opening it up is like, it's immediately taking away the fun because it's just natural for human beings to open it up and be like, oh, but they're doing this and they're doing this and they have this.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if after you go through all those steps of coming up with the content idea, filming it, editing it, going to post it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like also most times it like doesn't go viral, so it's just that constant every single day, like, all right, like gotta dust myself off and like get back to it the next day. And you know, I was like, yeah, just every day having to do that is really like it's taking away from not only like me being able to be creative and make music and create from a more like authentic place, but it also was impacting my mental health because I couldn't be present. I couldn't enjoy this life that I've like built for myself. You know, I've built a life of like being able to wake up every day and do what I want, which is just so amazing.
I mean,
I'm so grateful.
This is like
awesome. Exactly. Yeah. So I felt like I like wasn't able to enjoy that, and I had a friend like pass away at the later half of last year, and that was like a wake up call because I think there were a lot of times where I could have spent more time with him, and I was like, no, I have to like do these things, and like you just said, like no one's telling you that you have to do those things. Like you can go to dinner with your friend like once a week, you know? Yeah. So I was like, all right, something has to change here. Also, I felt like I wasn't really scaling, and you were like, okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to hire a videographer, and you're going to batch film a ton of content, and then it's going to be done. Like you're going to do it in 2 days, and it's going to be done. And I was like, wow, like that sounds so nice. And I think we always think about doing that, but taking the actual leap, paying somebody, finding somebody, you know, people get a little caught up doing that. And you think that it would be easier to just set up your phone every day, but it's not. It's really not. And I am living proof. Like I followed your advice. I started working with Ryan, who Winning House Productions. They're all tied in with each other. And, you know, we filmed a ton of content for my new song. And like already, like even the people in my life are like, you're so much more relaxed. Like you're so much different. Yay. And like, I just wake up now and I'm like, oh my God, like I have content. Like what I can like go enjoy like getting my nails done or like just doing something or writing a fucking song like outside of my scheduled studio session, you know, and just
I could cry. That's like the most beautiful thing in the world.
No, I could cry too. And I texted Ryan the other day because like we had a lot of back and forth because it was the first time we'd worked together. And after like everything was done and 17 videos are just like ready to go for the month, you know, I just texted him and I was like, I just want you to know, like, you are doing way more than just like making content for me. Like you've changed my life by like putting work in and helping me with this. And he was like, dude, I needed to hear that so bad today. Cause like some days it really just feels like, you know, that's what I'm doing. Yep. And I feel like that is my biggest piece of advice for artists now. It's like, just bite the bullet, hire the videographer.
Yep.
bank content and like just
And
watch how your life changes.
And it could be like for you, it was the videographer, but like as you said, my first question isn't just jump to the videographer. My first question is like, all right, you're making a living off of your art. So where is this stress coming from? And for every artist that can be different. And to me, that's where it's like the trade-off. And this is why personally, I'm actually, even though I mainly only work with independent artists, I hate the term independent because I think it's used too much to make artists feel like you should be able to do it all on your own. And like people look at a label as like this negative connotation when realistically it takes a village if you're going to try to do everything. So either don't try to do everything or make sure that you're finding the right partners for stuff. And there's people that you can hire to do things. There's people that you can give percentages to do things. There's people that you can start a business with and give equity to. There's all different ways to compensate and build the village. But the idea that you should be able to do this all on yourself is just nobody can. It's just not how life operates. And so my very first question with you is like, okay, so it's where either is the inefficiency or the stress because you're living the dream. So like, let's get back to how do we get you in a place where you feel that. And, this is that big stress. Well, then in 1 or 2 days a month, let's pay for it and get the stress going. And then it trickles into other parts where it's way more than just, as you said, the content. And then the music becomes better. Your relationships become better, which means the stuff you have to write about is more fun. And like, it just trickles in the best ways possible. But I'm really proud of you for actually taking that leap. And I know how much with the videographer too, it can be a very personal thing. And like as a female artist to have a dude and it's just a dude in a camera that's shooting you. And it's like, man, I feel like it'd just be easier for me to do this on my own. Like it would have been,
I know my angles. Like
there would have been 100 reasons for you after I had that convo with you to not do it. So like, I want to celebrate how like strong that is to like, not just hear the advice, but like actually take it to heart and do with it what you wanted. And super fucking cool. But like, that's props to you for being willing to take that leap and being like, I want to change something. So I'll give it a shot.
Absolutely. It was, and like, I've done like lots of video stuff before, but never to that like capacity, and even we shot outside most of the time. It was fucking freezing. Like,
y'all are insane.
Ryan, Ryan, I was looking at him like, this guy is amazing because we are all like, I'm like going in the car like every like hour. So he's out there just like getting damn near frostbite doing this.
I thought it was a joke when him and Matt, also shout out Matt, said that they were about to carry a bathtub to the cemetery. When it was freezing outside. And I was like, that would be funny to carry that heavy ass bathtub.
No, they didn't.
And they did. And stood outside and did the shoots. And I know that Steph was excited to be like, hey, I can come and bring a jacket and like be able to be helped.
I have a heated poncho.
Exactly.
It saved my ass. It was amazing. Like it's just so great. And now we're like on this roll where it's like, okay, like once a month, like we're doing this. And that helps me also be like, okay, I'm putting out a song, next song's coming out next month and life changing. I really just, sometimes you have to be honest with yourself and be like, okay, something is like getting caught up here and what is it? And I think it's a valuable question to ask yourself as an artist. Like, what is stopping me? If the music's great and, I have the drive, like what is the thing that's kind of holding me back from like getting to that next level? And that's where I think a lot of times your support system and just having people that have your best interest in mind, not people that are trying to take advantage of you or see you as like a paycheck, but people that want Jade, my friend, to be happy. Then a lot of times the advice, even for me, even to this day, a lot of times my advice is really just me playing devil's advocate with somebody. It's just asking questions. Because realistically, you knew what the problem was. And you knew how you could solve it. But it just took me asking questions for you to be like, this is the problem. Well, why can't you do this? And it's like, well, I could, but I haven't found the right person. And it's like, well, why couldn't you try Ryan? And it's like, all I'm doing is asking questions. I'm not saying like, hey, you need to do this. Because nobody's going to actually take that to heart. But like, you knew it deep down. You just needed a thought partner. And to me, that's like such a beautiful thing in life is to have people you trust. And that's where I feel like my superpower has been the last 15 or 16 years without knowing it was like,
I never took money from the artist. So I would never take a managerial percent. I would never take points on a record. I would never take a referral fee if I referred them to a platform, because I wanted every time the artist to know I have your best interest. I'm not doing this for me or the money that I get.
Yeah.
And by doing that, people then trusted me for so many things, and it opened up an entire music industry and a network for me of like, Tim's the guy I call when I need something.
Yeah.
And it could sometimes have nothing to do with the music industry. It's like, yo, I just went through a breakup and I was living with my girl and I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah.
And like, mine is like, hey, great, let's talk about it. Like,
Right.
let me figure out how I can help. But a lot of times, realistically, my help is just being there for someone.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because if I've done my job right, then I just get to come sit on a podcast and hear about how happy you are.
Yeah. So let's like dive into that, because I think, you're very different from a lot of people who are in your position in this industry. Where did this like passion for helping artists come from for you, and when did it start?
That's a great question. Because I basically stumbled into the music industry by when I was at Notre Dame. It's basically my first time having free time. I thought I might be able to walk onto the basketball team later on. My dad went there, my sister went there. I just kind of went through the motions and going there. And realistically, I just missed my high school friend group and started smoking weed. So I was like, I'm going to share the music I'm listening to with my high school friends on this website. And then the website went from like my 10 high school friends to a couple hundred people going to it a day. And so I actually shut it down because I didn't want other people going to it. It was like,
what was the website?
It's called Good Music All Day,
Okay.
GMAD.
Okay. You made it?
Yeah. I made it.
Okay.
And so it was like a music blog. It was originally just tweb90.wordpress.com. It was like a very generic blog. And my friends got really mad when I shut it down because they were like, yo, you were making me cool at my college because I was showing my friends the music that you were posting.
Okay.
And so you should start it back up. And so when I started it back up by the end of that freshman year, it was starting to do decently well, like tens of thousands of people going to it. And so I went to NYU's Clive Davis School of Recorded Music for a summer semester. And that was when it just really exploded. And the head of that program basically told me to drop out and pursue this because people go to college to get opportunities. And I have an opportunity right now. It's not guaranteed. In a couple of years, it'll still be there. My mom couldn't believe that. My mom came from teaching and being in education. She flew to New York. He said the same thing to her. She left and she was like, you're not going back to this school. You'll go to Belmont. So I went to Belmont for a couple of weeks and then dropped out and did it full time. But that stumbling into the music industry stumbled in because I missed my friends and I was a fan of music. But then very quickly, as we got to millions of viewers a day, everybody I was talking to on a daily basis was in the music industry.
Yeah.
And very quickly, all of my friends became artists that I was watching kind of grow up in front of me.
Okay, so you were like a curator.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, so almost like somebody would pitch to a Spotify playlist.
Exactly.
You were the guy. If like someone was dropping a new song, they wanted to be on your site.
Yeah.
That's
and so like
fucking, when was this?
And
what
this
year?
was I started in 2009.
Wow.
I sold it in 3 pieces. I sold part to Spotify, part to Live Nation, and then part to a company called Verge in 2015, 2016.
Okay.
But yeah, basically we just posted 10 songs a day, 10 songs that I liked, legally free downloads. This is how old I am and how those days operated was the iPod era. There wasn't streaming. There weren't even really like iPhones that you could stream on. So the cool people at the college parties were who had the best music on their iPod.
Right.
And so what we would do is we would ask artists, hey, allow people to download it for free. And basically I could guarantee that in 24 to 48 hours, you'd get at least 500,000 downloads. And that's so like Macklemore, when I first posted him, I think he had 17,000 fans between MySpace and Facebook.
Yeah.
And got 1 million streams in 72 hours. And it completely changed his life. And he was like, let's just keep going.
Right.
And then I saw that impact and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And part of the beauty was like when you downloaded the songs, the artwork would say good music all day. So when people on their iPod are like, what song is this? And they'd show it to them, it was natural word of mouth of like, oh, you got it from that site. I'm going to go check it out. And so, it was a very small blip on the radar unless you were like niche. In the music blog world or like a college age kid between 2010 and 2015. It doesn't mean anything. But during that time, it was kind of like being at the top of New Music Friday when it first started would have been.
Wow.
And it was just really cool because I could pretty much guarantee that I could take an artist from nothing to being able to do 1,000 cap rooms as a headlining tour just by promoting them.
Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. And I bet there was like not a lot of opportunity like that at that time.
And all the ones that were genre specific. So like I always said, like I was smoking weed. Like if it already existed, I wouldn't have started it. The reason I started it was because I couldn't be the only college kid that liked hip hop and liked EDM and liked pop music. And there were blogs that were really good in each genre.
Right.
But like mine was, I just spent 10 hours a day originally checking all the blogs and then posting my 10 favorites. So realistically, I was just spending more time listening to music and was like, I can't be the only person that likes more than one genre. And then over time, then it became, I didn't have to go scrape the blogs. Now everybody's reaching out, wanting me to post their songs. So then it was filtering the songs. And
how are you making a profit off this?
For a lot of it, I wasn't.
Yeah.
The biggest one originally was ads. So like we signed to an ad network. So that way we weren't running like Google ads, basically. I signed to Vibe magazine and they were mainly hip hop blogs. But because of mine having 16 to 24-year-olds in the middle to upper class, it was very valuable to advertisers. So like McDonald's would want to run a campaign, and it would be like the super intrusive ads where it would be like the background of the website, and if you hovered over the like header image, it would like pop out really big. It's very very nasty looking ads, but they'd pay like 10 grand a day at that time, and so Yeah, so that was awesome. Insane. Yeah, and
were you like, what did you think when you were making that type of money?
I mean, it was like I think it was over $500,000 a year before I was 21, and like we didn't really have costs. Like my cost was server fees, which was maybe $3,000 a month. That was my only cost.
We need to like just like what was that like for you at that age to have that much money?
I somehow every month ended up with negative in the bank accounts, and like it was a crash course both in business and a bunch of stuff. But that's also where like part of the reason but like a lot of it was like travel and just being like me, like I would literally get done like watching Macklemore play at North Carolina and then see that I had another friend playing on the West Coast tomorrow, and I'd just go to the airport and get a same day plane ticket.
Okay, living life.
And then eventually I hired all my best friends, and then it was just more people that were traveling and flying with. And then the other part was like with Vibe and with that contract, I was spending money because I knew how much I was earning, but it was basically like you don't get paid originally for like, it was called net 90. So if I ran the ad that day, kind of like DSPs, you don't see the money for 90 days. And then eventually it went to like 120 days. And then eventually it went to like 180 days. And then eventually when they owed me over $1 million, they went bankrupt and they sent me a check for like 30 grand and were like, you don't get any more. And I had been spending money and opening up credit lines like I had $1 million, and I didn't. And so now all of a sudden I'm actually $100,000 in debt. And like, what do? I had to become my own advertiser. So now I have to figure out, how do I get to McDonald's and all of these people and be able to do it myself? And so what I did was I went down to South by and just faked my way into rooms. I just would go to a Doritos event and just tell the person at security, be like, hey, I have a meeting with the head of marketing for Doritos. And they would just walk me backstage. Genius. And then I would have the stats pulled up on my phone, my Google Analytics. And I'd be like, hey, 2 million 16 to 24-year-olds came to my site yesterday. you guys used to do hundreds of thousands of dollars of ads with me. Let's cut out the middleman and let's do it directly. And then it was like, now instead of 10K, I'm getting 25K a day for stuff. And so it ended up working out well. But I mean, I didn't pay taxes for 3 years.
Yeah.
I got sued multiple times for millions of dollars. It was a shit show.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I'd literally, like, every mistake you could do of hire friends, don't pay taxes, think you have money you don't have.
Sounds like
I
me.
did it all.
No, it's so true because, I think it's like you go all in on this idea that you have, and there's so much of that like boring adult stuff that it's hard to focus on when you're experiencing this new level of life and success. It's like, I don't want to like take time out of my day to like pay my quarterly taxes. Same thing happened to me I got fucked. And it's a slap in the face because you're like, oh, everything is a yin and a yang, right? It's like we don't get to like live this life without having to go through like my friends are like, oh my God, I owe so much in taxes this year. They tell me and I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like, you have no idea. But then on the flip side of that, it's like, but I'm waking up every day like doing what I love,
Amen.
And
Amen. That's why I don't complain. Anytime people are asking me, it's like, I sucked at probably being a good husband to Steph and being a good son. And there are a lot of stuff that's not going well for sure. But at the same time, I chose this life. I chose the problems that I have. And realistically, I think I'm one of the happiest people in the world. So I'm never expecting life to be perfect, but like I signed up for it. Yeah. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I've been audited by the IRS twice, and like it sucks. And when I sold the company, my goal was never to touch that money, and quickly a couple $1 million go to like a couple $100,000 because there's all this other shit that I forgot to pay and all this other stuff, and it was, but it was never about that for me. And like I'm good. Like part of the reason I fell in love with my wife was like we're able to live off of $10 for 10 days by just scraping together change and like going to the grocery store as a date to be like, how do we make $10 last 10 days? And then having fun with each other doing it versus being like, oh, I have this safety egg and like, we'll always be able to be great. It's like, no, I kind of enjoy. And now I kind of enjoy ending every month with $0. But that's also just because we don't want kids. Like I don't give everybody that advice. Like if you want kids or if you have massive debt and all this stuff, like, don't be reckless with money. But for me, as long as we can eat and we're good, then like share the wealth.
Yeah. I always say like if I'm eating, you're eating. Like if you're on my team, like that's really all I like want to do. Is help lift up other creatives, especially people that are taking time out of their lives to like work with me on my dream. That will always be a crazy concept to me. Yeah. Even when I went on tour this past year independently and. The people that I brought along with me.
Hell yeah, you did. Don't skip over that sentence. You did a whole tour fucking yourself independently.
Yeah. Never again.
I know. I know why
Tim,
not never again.
And
I know why people don't do it, but the fact that you did it is just fucking insane.
I did it. And like, it was such a learning experience. Oh my God. I mean, just so humbling in so many aspects, but I will say like, I had fun the whole time, and I made sure that like, I had a great experience in each of the cities. That was another thing I really wanted to do with this tour. It's like, no, we're not just, squeezing in all these dates into 2 weeks. We're going to do this over the span of a month and a half. I'm going to take everybody with me for like 4 days in each of the cities. Like we're going to go out, we're going to experience things, we're going to make content. And it felt like one long vacation, and like we had shows in the middle of it. Like that's awesome. Kind of like what it felt like.
That's awesome.
And it was amazing. And when I say it was humbling, like it was just humbling because I learned that it's very difficult to fill rooms, even when you have a 250,000 fan base on TikTok that shows up for you every night. I learned that, like, you're going to be, like, in the red by tens of thousands of dollars.
Totally. I mean, it's a little bit of a rite of passage, though. Like, even Mike that you talk about, like, almost every artist that I've worked with, I would say I have seen at least some type of show where there's more people with the team than there are fans in the audience.
My God, me, yeah.
Where there's 12 people that are working the crew and there's 6 fans out there.
Okay, and while we're on this topic, I have talked about this on this podcast before. So I am like not afraid to admit that I perform to rooms of like 10 people on this tour. And sometimes I like worry that I shouldn't be sharing that, I guess, because I don't know. I think like for me, I don't see a lot of people being like open and honest about that. You only hear about that after they blow up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, no, like I was performing to nobody, but it's like they never say that on the come up because there's this like facade that I think artists want to have where it's like, no, I'm like filling up rooms for sure.
Yeah, that's the worst thing that you can do just in general is have that facade. There's an element, and it goes beyond the touring. It also goes to like acting like you're a full-time artist when you have a second job and all this other stuff. Like acting like you've made it, because honestly, that makes it so much harder to market yourself because fans want to be a part of your success story. Yeah. If you're already successful, why do they need to support you? Yeah. So like you letting them know, like I'm also working at Jimmy John's, or I'm also doing this, or I perform in a room full of 10, just makes people want you to win that much more. Oh yeah. And like, I think you see it every now and then, but the problem is it's a very vulnerable thing to do. And a lot of artists don't know who they are not comfortable being vulnerable. It's a lot easier to put on the facade than it is to be vulnerable and do it on social media. Right. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I made a video. I was like devastated when this happened, but my Charlotte show, less than 24 hours, canceled the show. And listen, I had like 4 people that were so hype to like on TikTok that I knew for sure like had bought tickets and were coming. And like one of the girls like made a poster of me that she was like so excited for me to sign. And I was so upset by the fact that they did this because of those people. And I just like made a video and just said it. I was like, this happened, and you know, one day I'm going to go to Charlotte and like sell it out, and it's going to be such an amazing night. And like that video, like so many people were just so beyond supportive. They were like, you know, they're going to regret that, or like, thank you for sharing this, and like being real about the fact that, yeah, like it's even hard to fill up rooms in Nashville when you're a Nashville-based artist. Like it's
hard to fill rooms in Nashville when you're a successful touring artist, which is why so many artists don't play Nashville. Right. Like if you look at a lot of the tours that are between 500 to 4,000 cap rooms, they'll do Atlanta, they'll do Indianapolis, they'll do Cincinnati, they'll do everywhere around here, but they won't come to Nashville.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's a combo of things. Like there was one night during like the blog times where it was like the perfect epitome of it, where Macklemore was playing the same night as a DJ group called Cruella, as an artist called Hoodie Allen, as another artist called Mod Sun. They were all playing at least 500 cap rooms, and they all that night, even if they sold out, were playing about a third of the capacity that they would play somewhere else. Yeah. Because you're competing with that much. But even if it's not all in the same night, there's so many opportunities for live music that like
that's what I think it is.
People, you're competing with the entire year's roster, not just that night's. Versus if you're in Milwaukee, it's like there's 2 main venues in Milwaukee. Yep. And so that's all you have is like who's playing at those 2 venues. Here we have a venue that has 3 venues inside of it that like are always booked.
It's so true. That's what I said too about Nashville. It's I don't like the word oversaturated, but it's just there's a lot of options, I think. And it's nothing to take personally. Doesn't mean that the people here don't support you. You know, you can't get like hung up on that. But I totally agree with that. Yeah, I always say I saw Doja Cat perform to a room full of 10 people here right before she blew up.
That's awesome. Yeah. I also think a lot of times the reason you don't hear about that, even if an artist is talking about it, is because they're also just not that big. Yeah. So like there isn't anybody to hear it if they say it. Today's climate where social media doesn't always translate to ticket sales and all of this, a lot of people can hear the story but still not buy tickets, which is kind of a newer thing. But I'm really glad that you take the stance of being that vulnerable. I think that's huge. I think that's a cheat code. I think every artist, don't fucking put on a facade. Please do not. You're doing yourself a giant disservice.
I agree. And even the fact now, this is another thing that I see a lot happening, and I just refuse to do it, like the faking the streams. Oh yeah. I just can't get behind this. And I could, like, first of all, it's so easy for you as an artist to boost your streams, boost your social media numbers. You could boost every single post. I know artists that do it. Yep. And the reason why I know they're doing it is because I know how like the algorithms work where, sorry, but like, no, you can't get away with posting like once a week and you don't get like 300,000 views when you post. You're boosting the post. And that's so frightening to me because like, where does that leave you, even just like with how you view yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a competing business of Grouped today on LinkedIn that they posted a YouTube video saying we're so pumped to have this new series. It was posted within the last 24 hours. It had 68,000 views when I saw it, and it had one comment.
Exactly.
And we have just started our YouTube, and I don't think we have a video over 150 views, but I don't think we have a video that has less than 4 comments.
Right.
Like, I'd rather 4 real people see it
100%.
and everybody see we only got 150 views than 68,000 and not that. So like, it's just across the board. But like, the even crazier part with buying streams is like, nobody has the artist back, as we all know. Like, I could list you as a co-release, or I could put out a song as you, and there's no way for you to stop it. Like, that's insane. But take it a step further. I could buy any artist fake streams. I could buy 10 million fake streams for probably $100 and get any artist Spotify taken down. Anybody could. And I know people that their livelihood is the revenge business, where that's what they do. They go and they buy enough fake followers to get people's Spotify in particular flagged and taken down. And now the reason you don't see that on the Morgan Wallens and the big ones is because most of the people that are that big have a deal with somebody that's invested in Spotify.
Right.
All the major labels are equity holders in Spotify. So if one of their artists get fucked with, it's down for 30 seconds. Nobody notices.
Right.
But if it's an independent artist and you're distributing through DistroKid, who do you go to? You got nobody. Spotify doesn't care.
So there's no way to combat this from happening.
I mean, there is. Eventually, hopefully you find somebody like me or somebody that can help. But like, the distributor doesn't need to have your back. It's not their responsibility. Wow. Nobody's taking the responsibility of like, let's make sure it's actually this artist. Let's make sure whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to do, because
that's terrifying.
Figuring out who bought the streams is a whole nother thing.
So it gets taken down because someone buys fake streams?
Yeah, because now with a lot of the policies, it's like, it starts normally as the song gets taken down once Spotify or one of the DSPs recognize fraudulent streams. The song will get taken down.
Wow.
If it's enough fraudulent streams or on enough tracks, you can actually get the Spotify profile itself, the entire catalog, taken down.
That's so scary.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, there's so many ways to
Don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
I was
going to
say, we won't give anybody ideas, but like, it's wild. So like, what would you say to people who, and I've heard you talk about this, so I'm really asking for other people who don't really know you, but for people who really struggle with the numbers aspect of things and the comparison that we all face, like what do you tell artists who are really caught up in that?
That's a great question. I think for me, the first part is to remember that numbers are the result that comes from hard work, doing what you love, and all that stuff. Chasing a number as a goal, especially when it's in terms of anything social media or DSPs, any amount of streams, views, followers, anything is out of your control. That is machine AI learning. That is so much that's out of your control. But the result of having a song that gets millions of streams, or having millions of monthly listeners, or having 250,000 followers is from you showing up and being authentically you every day. It's the result is the numbers. But like, you don't chase the numbers, because then you make inauthentic shit, and then you have to buy those numbers. Then you have to constantly sell your soul to get those numbers. Those numbers come from doing the right thing every day, which is why I tell people to focus on what's in your control. And your idea of success today is probably not going to have anything to do with when you're actually successful, what success is. Yeah. And like, chances are an artist isn't starting by being like, I want to live stream all the time, and that's like my goal. Mm-hmm. But the goal is I want to love what I do every day, and I want to be able to be my own boss, and I want to be able to make a living off of my art. Mm-hmm. And like, there's a million ways to make $1 million in the music industry. So if that's your goals, it's gonna happen. Right. It's gonna happen. But if you set your goals as I want 1 million followers, or I want 1 million monthlies, it's you've automatically lost, because that is out of your control. And even if it is, then you have to run ads. You have to do this, like, play the game that you're not actually getting any better. Yeah. So like, the numbers are results of you getting better and you being authentic and you doing dope shit. So if the numbers aren't there yet, you're probably not making good enough stuff or doing it efficiently or put in the reps to eventually find your tribe.
Yeah.
But like those numbers they come. That's the byproduct. But that's not the thing that you plan for.
Yeah, I love that. So it's kind of like a mindset flip of, okay, I'm not chasing, you know, these big numbers. I'm chasing the work that goes in and like the daily practice. I think that, you know, eventually I really believe, like, I'm very spiritual. So I do believe, you know, not only does it happen when it's meant to, but it happens when it's so undeniable that it can't not happen.
Amen.
You know?
Amen. I
enough
100%.
times.
Yeah.
Like because like something could be undeniable and you like, you know, showcase it once and you could get discouraged and like stop pushing it, you know? But
Totally.
yeah, I feel like I've learned that over time, and it's just so much more freeing to, you know, like choose showing up every day rather than choose basing your worth off of like people, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
paying attention.
I say all the time the Michael Jackson Thriller like story, which is what I always lean into with artists, and I know I've told you this too, but like that's like the best example of numbers to me, which is like Michael Jackson's album Thriller is largely considered the greatest album of all time. It was the highest selling album in 1 year of all time. That album, I think it was like 10 million plus records that it sold the first year. That's amazing. That being said, the greatest album of all time with 10 million people, there's so much to it. The first one is Michael Jackson brought in Quincy Jones. So he brought in somebody else right off the bat to help him with it. Those two people went through 700 songs to get to the right 12 that ended up on the album. So what does that mean? That means 98% of the songs that Michael Jackson went through were not good enough to be on Thriller. And the amount of artists that write one song, record one song, and that's it, means typically you haven't put in the reps.
Yeah.
And like that is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is there is over 100 people involved in the recording of that, between background vocals, instrumentation, all of that. There's so much collaboration. And the last part is 10 million people bought it. 98% of America didn't buy it. So when you're talking the greatest of all time, the threshold is 98% of people don't fucking care.
Yep.
So what's the number that you're looking for? Like the number is the top, the pinnacle, the Taylor Swift, the Michael Jackson. 98% of people don't buy their tickets, don't stream their music.
Wow.
Like, so why are you wondering, oh, I need everybody's approval? You're going to be the biggest artist in the world, and 98% of people are still going to be like, yeah, you did all that. It's not worth my time.
Right.
Not worth my money, not worth my time.
Yeah.
And that's success.
Yeah.
So like to shift your head from I have to be the biggest thing in the world, even if you are, nobody's going to care about you.
Yeah.
So like instead, double down on the people that do show up every night on your stream. Double down on the people that are there, because that's where your career starts.
Yeah.
Your career starts because there are people showing up for you by you showing up for them every day.
Right.
And if you didn't show up every day, they may not, but like you do, they do, and then you just lean into that. And slowly over time that compounds. And like the only number that really matters is what do you need to be able to live off of your art. And if you're single without kids or whatever, it could be $100,000 a year to live comfortably. It could be $250,000. But if anything after that, doesn't matter. Like to me, it doesn't. My specialty has been taking artists from $0 to that 100 or 250K, or from never playing shows to 500 cap rooms. But like after that, that's not my specialty.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care whether or not you're a superstar. And realistically, I would never wish fame on anyone. I don't want anyone to be the biggest artist in the world. Everybody that I've seen that's the biggest artist in the world has been the least happy person that I've seen.
Tim, I want to talk to you about this, because I feel like this is something where I think I want to hear more about this like thought process, and I feel like it will be enlightening to me, because I am someone who has very big dreams, very big goals for myself. Like if you said like, do you want to be the biggest superstar in the world? I would say absolutely 100% yes, and I'll take everything that comes with it. Like, and I've felt that way since I was like very young, very, very young. That's what I wanted. Since I could form thoughts about what I wanted to do. I wanted to like have a massive music career. And as I've, gone on in life and, obviously things don't go according to your plan and your timeline, I've become like happy obviously with where I'm at, but I still have this like massive goal. Mm-hmm. And I hear you say this a lot, like about fame. Mm-hmm. And like, I want to know not only like why you think that, but do you think that it's wrong to like want that for yourself?
No, I don't think it's wrong to get recognition for doing dope shit. Like whether that's helping other people, whether that's making great art, whether that's being funny, whatever it is, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting tons of recognition. What I think the reason that I would never wish fame on anyone is that, and fame to me doesn't mean you have to be the biggest artist in the world. I use this comparison a lot, but fame could mean you're from a small town of 5,000 people where there's 50 people in your graduating high school class. But if you were the promiscuous person in high school and like that town is that small, you're known as that person for the rest of your life. Everybody in that town is like, there's Sleep Around Sally or whatever. Yeah. Like that connotation, what fame does is it strips you of part of the beauty of being a human being, which is anonymity, which is you get to walk down the street and talk to strangers and nobody knows anything about each other. We're presenting our best versions of ourselves today. You get to know me today as how I'm feeling and how I choose to present myself, what I choose to tell you. That's part of what makes being a human being is that element. And if every time you want to go on a date with somebody, they already have the connotation of you in that small town, like you got to get out of that town in order to be able to have the fresh start or whatever.
Yeah.
Fame, once you get to the level where like you can never go to a grocery store, you can't go to public without somebody coming up to you. It's not about the like, oh, it sucks to get the picture. It's about the fact that like, you're losing the human element. You're losing the chance to get to talk to the cashier as just a human being. Mm. The cashier already knows, oh, this is that girl I saw on that show. And they already formed an opinion of you a little bit. Mm-hmm. And like, that's the reason a lot of times other famous people are only friends with other famous people is because they're the only ones typically that can relate to the idea that nobody else can relate to this feeling of not getting to live life.
Yeah.
And like, it's part of the reason I've been lucky enough to like be one of the few people that's in that level of friendship with that level of fame, but not having to go through the fame aspect myself is because I've seen enough of my friends go through that. And the result of a lot of them is suicide and addiction and death by addiction. Like part of when you asked why I care so much about helping artists, I have now 27 numbers in my phone that start with an asterisk, and that's 27 artists that have lost their lives since I started in 15 years.
Wow.
And that's everybody from high end of the Mac Millers and Juice WRLDs to people that we may not know, but like it's such an alienating feeling being an artist already. And a lot of times the reason I don't want fame for them is because it happens too early before you've had the self-discovery that's needed. I think you'd be able to handle it now because you've had enough life. But you at 22, when you had the wrong goals and stuff,
literally, I say it all the time.
That would have been the death of you because you would have kept chasing it and then you would have felt so empty and nobody can relate to you.
Yep.
You would have been like, I have all of the money. I am the biggest thing, but I feel empty and nobody can relate to me. No, not even my friends that grew up with me, nobody can relate to me. And for me, I had that feeling when I was lucky enough, like Drake and J. Cole at the time of the Club Paradise tour, this was probably 2013, were like two of my favorite artists. And I'd never seen them before, but I got to go on tour with them. That's how I first started. And like my very first J. Cole show, like I'm walking him to the stage. My first time watching Drake play is in front of 15,000 people standing next to his dad, watching the spotlight come down while Drake shouts out his dad. And I'm like, who's his dad? And I'm like, oh my God, it's on me. This is nuts. And like, I go from that experience to back home and I don't have a single person to call.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody to talk to about it. And it was the most depressing feeling in the world. And even to this day, like on my birthday this past year, the Justin Bieber song Lonely, it hits home so hard for me. And like that feeling of like everybody knows my name, but nobody actually gives a shit is like what the music industry is built on. It's built on this clout. It's built on this numbers. It's built on this facade. It's not built on, are you happy? People want to know as soon as they hear you're an artist. I'm going to look you up on Spotify. Now I'm going to judge whether or not you're successful. I'm going to look you up on Instagram. Yeah. And like we do it all the time. Yeah. I'll do the same thing. But like that's part of the natural emotion. But like that's why for me it's so important to be like, are you happy? Because that's the first part. Right. That's even before the money. Like the only two things I care about is let's make you happy as a human being. Yeah. And then let's try to make the money full time. But for me, the fame part is like it is very hard when you can't walk outside without every person already feeling like they know something about you. Yeah. And you don't realize how beautiful it is to get to order a coffee and make small talk with somebody and they know nothing about you.
Sometimes I go throughout my day. First of all, there's so much in what you just said that I'm like, I feel like I need to be reminded of it because obviously I have that ultimate goal, but what you said about me not being able to handle it at like 22, which is when I wanted it like the most. Like I was like, I literally thought when I was 18, I was going to be like winning a Grammy. Like that's what I thought. And I look back and I'm like, thank God. Sorry, that's my posting alarm. Thank God I didn't get that at that point in my life because I was mentally like unstable. And I went through so much, growth and like, just finding myself as an artist and also finding myself, with my spirituality and knowing that like I have a really good head on my shoulders now. Like I just know that I'll be able to handle it if it came. But at that time in my life, I just wouldn't have been able to, I think, survive like a lot of the negative effects that, fame has. But I'll go throughout my day now and like I will have those little interactions, that feel really special. And like this voice in the back of my head is always like, take this in. Like this is and
But the nice part is you can normally still disappear. It's like why Matthew McConaughey or somebody. It's like you can still go to a remote town in Mexico and nobody's gonna know who you are.
That's
like
true.
It doesn't really matter how big you get. Like everybody does it. Like Justin Bieber still loves to fucking go to Iceland. Like why? Because nobody gives a shit about him over there. Like you can still find those places, but when it's home doesn't feel like home anymore and that stuff, it's really hard. And like I mean, even for me, like I had a lot of that stuff. Like I had the first Grammys and the money that I was making by the time I'm 22 23 years old, but I sold my first business because I ended up in a mental hospital. Like I was the most stressed out, least happy person in the world. I slept 27 hours in 30 days. Like I was Nothing about it was great, but like to everyone else, my life was it. Like, oh my God, that's the guy that's hanging out with Drake and friends with Justin Bieber and fucking winning these awards, and he runs this blog and he's doing all this stuff. And it's like I'm miserable. I'm stressed out all the time. I like am in over my head. I don't have anybody to talk to, and I'm super lonely. Yeah. And like I'm not even on good terms with my family. I don't have a significant other. Like what is going on right now? And that is the smallest scale for me. Like I'm not even the artist. That wasn't even fame added into it. Right. That was just success, according to what other people want. Yeah. But success is really the happiness. That was what it taught me during that time. Was like, the reason I look at that period as like I was trying to prove I was significant, and now I find the beauty in being insignificant. Like there's so much freedom and beauty to like when I stop trying to matter. And instead, I just try to bring value to other people. Yeah, yeah. Do you feel like there is a way to have full happiness and also a high level of fame? That's a great question. I think there are people that I'm not friends with that seem kind of close to it, like a Jack Black. Or like Adam Sandler or something. Like there's some people that I think have been able to do it. In terms of artists, I think like a Post is probably pretty close up there. But even for him, like, it really fucked with him for a couple years. I personally have never seen an artist get to arena level and not be fucked up in some regard.
Okay. Wow. That's definitely a lot too.
And I'm not saying that in a like it's not possible.
Well, nothing's impossible.
I'm not friends with every artist.
Yeah,
but
no, for
like,
sure. No, I'm not taking that like, okay, I'm screwed. I'm like,
no, and I mean, like, I also, like, you can sell out the Red Rocks and the arenas and still not be a A-list celebrity. I do think in the music industry, a lot of times, realistically, the only thing the labels actually can do is make you famous. Mm-hmm. They can get you on the red carpet for the events. They can get you sitting next to Taylor Swift at the CMAs. They can get you those kind of things. But, like, as soon as the label's gone, all those are gone too.
Yeah.
So you're not getting them on your own merit. You're not getting them because you deserve it. You're getting them because other people are playing politics with your name. Like,
do you believe that you can get to that level of fame without a label?
Yes and no. I think it goes back to the earlier thing. I think you need partners. So I think, like, Chance the Rapper and Russ and Jelly Roll, I think a lot of these people have shown that you can create unique partnerships when you have leverage. I think the closest person that may be able to even get there would be like a Connor Price in a couple years maybe, or something like that, where it's like really him and his wife for the most part. And even that, they have Kara Lewis as the booking agent, who's one of the biggest booking agents in the world, like, who does Kanye and other people. So, like, it's still not just them. That being said, it goes back to the, like, there's a million ways to make $1 million. Some artists love to tour and want to do arenas, and some artists never want to tour. And some artists make millions of dollars a year off of Spotify. Some make millions of dollars a year off of merch. Some make it off of brand deals. Like, like, there's all different ways to do it. But the fame part, to me, I think gets very old very quick. And like, even like John Bellion's a great example of it, of like, starting it because you love it and you love the music, and then hating the fact that you feel this responsibility because of the fame, that you have to be this certain almost public figure that has to be engaging on social media and has to do all these other things. And, like, I just want to be behind the scenes and I just want to do me, and then come back to it with, like, if the byproduct is fame, that's great. I think NF is another great example of somebody here in Nashville that's like, man, he hates fame. He hates everything that comes along with it. He doesn't like going out in public because he doesn't like being recognized. He hates that side, but it's a byproduct of how fucking dope his music is. Yeah. I think wanting the recognition, there's nothing wrong with wanting it. There's nothing wrong with getting it for dope reasons, but it'll never be enough, and it will only continue to isolate you.
Yeah. When I think about, like, why I want fame, I guess you could say fame. But okay, so, like, when I think of fame, like, the picture that comes to my brain is immediately, like, me performing to a massive crowd, right? That's what I think of when I think fame. So when I'm saying the word fame, I'm thinking that. And the reason I want that is because I want to, like, experience that feeling, you know, of, like, performing huge concerts.
Shout out my friend Max Magura, because he introduced me to this guy last year, but I had never heard of him. His name's Billy Strings.
Yeah.
So He's
amazing.
Unbelievable. But I mean, I work in the music industry, been in it 16 years, had never heard him. He sold out Bridgestone 3 nights in a row.
He did.
3 nights in a row, and then the Ryman the next night. And the only way to get a ticket to the Ryman was you had to have bought a ticket to Bridgestone.
Oh my God.
Billy Strings is not famous.
You're right, yeah.
But Billy Strings can sell more tickets than anybody that you think is famous.
Wait, that's so interesting.
There's not one rapper probably in the world right now, outside of maybe like Travis Scott at his hype and maybe like Drake and stuff, that like have that type of fan base. So
it's a fan base.
It goes back to, it's your tribe. It's that 1 or
Yeah.
2%. He has 1 or 2%.
Yeah.
But like, would you want 100% of people just aware that you exist? What like for? Like that's
Yeah.
like the level of like
Okay.
politicians and that kind of stuff. But when you say you want to perform in front of that many people, that's got nothing to do with fame to me.
Okay.
Because you can play in one weekend to 60,000 people and still be able to go to anywhere.
All right, then maybe it's not that, because that's famous to me. Like, you get to like go on a tour and like perform these massive shows. Like, that's all I want.
Yeah, you're getting recognition from your tribe that you deserve, and his tribe is, I'm making great, whatever they call the blue jam or grass jam or whatever it is, bluegrass jam music. But that's only really big in like the Appalachia region and the South, and like it's very limiting as to what the audience is.
Yeah.
But like, good Lord, is it incredible? And
that'd do it for me.
Yeah, he's unreal. That
would scratch that itch for sure.
Yeah, and to me, that's that idea of like finding your tribe, and like even like Mike's a good example with like the Red Rocks, like selling out 2 nights at Red Rocks. That's 20,000 tickets.
So crazy.
And the way he gets there is by not wanting to be famous, is by not playing the fame game. I'm not interested. He'll say it all the time. If you want to stream my music on Spotify, you totally can. If you just want to follow me, you totally can. But the only people I care about are the ones in my group. And the only Steves, those 13,000 people are the ones that sold out 20,000 tickets. Those 13,000 people are the ones that are changing his life. He still has millions of monthly listeners. He still has millions of followers. Like, that's still there, but he's not, I want all of the followers and all the streams.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that people that care about me really know that I care about them. And now he gets to play in front of 20,000 people.
Right.
So like, there's a lot of people that play the fame game. So they start sacrificing their authenticity to play this clout game, to do these things that they think they need to do. And then realize once all of those people drop them, that they don't have any fans.
Yeah.
It was all fabricated from the beginning.
Right.
Versus somebody that's like, yo, it took me 15 years, but it was fucking well worth it because I have a career now.
Yeah. So I do obviously want to dive into Mike because, you know, he has such a big fan base here in Nashville, and you guys work very closely with him. And I always say, like, his podcast is like the reason why I started my podcast, because I feel like I really fell in love with his music by like learning about him and his career and stuff, and like how just his mindset, I think, was really inspiring to me as an artist, because to me, I saw him as someone who did have like that happiness and that kind of groundedness as an artist, and spoke on spirituality and just all stuff I'm interested in, and then, you know, has his music career. So I loved how he went about that. So how did you start working with him? What is the story there?
Yeah, so I actually, on that music blog, I released Mike's first ever song that he ever made.
Okay.
So Mike did
What
not,
was it?
It was College Humor, I believe it was. Basically, he was at Duke. He made a song. The song was kind of a joke, but not really. But also all the athletes at Duke's had to have like monikers, like alias names. For social media accounts and for other things because of just legality and some stuff that happened at Duke. But he created a song kind of as a joke. The athletes really loved it, and the students at Duke started playing it. And so he sent it to me, and he was like, hey, would you be interested in putting this song up? And I was pretty realistic, where I was like, I didn't think the song was great, but I did think that my audience would like it.
Yeah.
And so I put it up, and I think within 2 hours, John Kilmer sent me a message asking for an intro to Mike because he found the song on
So
the
all of
website.
you guys were separate?
Yeah, like Mike didn't exist. I put out his first song, and then I introduced him to Kilmer, and then that kind of started their relationship, which meant some music videos and some other stuff. But
you knew John, though.
I knew John as a producer because with the website, I was doing a series with John where he is a jack of all trades. He was shooting music videos for artists as well as giving out beats and all this stuff. And a lot of the artists he would shoot music videos for were ones from my website. But we would do a series where we would put out a mixtape of free beats, like 10 beats, and everybody would download them and then submit their versions of the songs. Okay. And we would pick our favorite and make a music video to it He would shoot it
nice.
and then I would premiere it.
Love.
And so like one of the artists who won was an artist named Young AZ at the time. Young AZ ended up being Arizona Zervis, who has a song with over 1 billion streams, Roxanne, and one of the biggest artists. But like,
wow.
he was Young AZ at the time, and he just won this competition, and then that started catapulting some real traction for him. And like, I knew John from that, and John just asked for an intro, and so John met Mike through that, and a lot of the artists I was working with were in that kind of frat rap lane back then.
It was big.
Of like, yeah.
I remember.
And-
Sammy, what was his name? Yeah, I loved him.
Yeah.
Loved him.
And so like a lot, unfortunately, when like during that period, I got blamed from some of the hip hop culture by like ruining hip hop by introducing all these white rappers. And like realistically, I never claimed to be a hip hop head. It wasn't like I knew Wu-Tang and I just loved hip hop.
Yeah.
It just so happened a lot of the college kids liked the Sammy Adams and Mike Stud and Huey Mack and Hoodie Allen and G-Eazy, Mac Miller. Like all of them are white rappers. It just so happened. But with Mike, we just kept supporting. The people on Good Music All Day really enjoyed his stuff. As his career started doing better, we kept sponsoring his tours, and I would go and shoot recaps and just try to figure out how I could help him. But we didn't probably become as close as we did until a little bit more into the transition, because Mike was right on that verge of playing the fame game. Like moved out to LA with the boys, and he got pretty close to signing a major deal. He was, hanging out with, we were hanging out playing beer pong with Post Malone before he was at the level that he was, and like crashing with us. And he got to meet Drake and like form the OVO relationship. And there were a lot of stuff where he was getting close. And then when he decided not to, and kind of switched from getting caught up in like that LA fame, wanting to play that game, into the spirituality, was like the biggest shift in the world. And like, if you had told me from 15 years ago that I would still be business partners with Mike and that he would love my wife and that we would be this level, I wouldn't have guessed it out of all the artists back then. But it was really cool to see that progression over time. And all I've ever tried to do for him is just bring him value. Until grouped, we hadn't ever really been business partners in any regard. But like when it came to like helping him sell his catalog or getting introduced to new business managers or any of that kind of stuff, it was like, I'm here. Even for the Nashville show, when he played Ascend, it was like super close to selling out. And he hits me up, hey, I want a billboard and moving trucks. And then I put my wife on it. And within 12 hours, we have trucks driving around with his face on it. But like, I'm not an employee of his, but like, and then the same with Grouped. It was like, I didn't even ask him to bring Only Steve's onto the platform. I was like, yo, I'm giving you and Kilmer a piece of equity in this company because I wouldn't be starting it unless you guys did this. So it's like just respect. But then that turned into, but like, obviously we're going to do it with you because we've known you for 10 years. We love you and let's do it together. So however I can help him, I always can. Even like his last album got taken off Spotify for a couple days right after he released it. And like, I was able to pull some cards and get him in touch with the head of North America for Spotify to get it back up, which even his distributors couldn't do. And it was like, I'm just there to help. He's family. And it's really cool to see he's the unicorn for him has been when he made that shift from, I don't want the fame and the whatever, and I want to be happy, and I'm going to double down on the people that are here. And like that shift and the results of that are what everybody wants. Like he has multiple multi-million-dollar businesses because he only cares about those 13,000 people. And like, he's actually way happier than anybody that I know. And he hasn't had a permanent address in 6 years because he gets to just go live wherever he wants. And like wake up on the beach and read self-help books if he wants for the day. Like,
for sure. And what a testament to just like a long-term, true like relationship, of just like you guys genuinely like loving each other and like supporting each other, and what it's like turned into, I think.
And it's super cool because even though I would say he's one of the easily top 10 biggest independent artists in the United States, once again, independent, like he wouldn't be there without Kilmer,
Yeah,
without
absolutely.
Fader,
Yeah.
without his whole crew, without the
Yeah.
producers that he works with. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have a big crew. It's very
Right,
small.
right.
But is that really independent? Like Kilmer is the one that
Yeah.
runs the Only Steves and makes sure the fans are good and oversees the social media accounts. Mike doesn't even have the login for his TikTok.
Right.
Like it is a team still, but it's a
Yeah.
very small, close-knit team. But like that's been really cool to see is like he's been able to stay with most of the day ones.
Yeah.
He didn't try to play the game that's so easy. He got close to getting caught up in it. But like
I was
Yeah.
with a producer once, a big producer. I'll tell you after who he is, but he was close with Mike at one point. He was like, "Yeah, he used to sleep on my couch," but he was saying how there was a point in time where Mike was very much so like, "I want this,"
Yeah.
and it came with like he
I
definitely.
mean, shit, they had a TV show. Like, fucking,
Yeah,
they were going for it.
Yeah, which like is encouraging to me because I think it's very human as an artist to want that, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you do just get to a certain point where you're like, what am I like really willing to sacrifice here? And like to me, it's very important to keep my authenticity and like keep making my art the way that I want it to be made.
Yeah.
And I think that you really sacrifice that when you decide to go for it.
Yeah, and I think it's also defining clear. Like, this is a really eye-opening conversation to me because I think everybody also thinks of fame in different ways. But like, when you boil down, like, what is it about the fame that you want? You're like, I want to perform in front of an arena full of people and like have that feeling.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's doable.
Right.
Also, you know, whether or not that happens may be out of your control. Most people that do that can get to that level have sacrificed some amount of creativity or ownership or parts of their life that's a trade-off to get to that level.
Always.
And so it's just important to have people in your corner that can play devil's advocate with you. It's like, do the pros outweigh the cons? Because every single thing in life, there's going to be goods and bads. And like, it's up to you to decide if they're good or bad. But trying to be the biggest and the best at everything isn't going to work out. But what is the goal? What are we working towards? And how do we get there? And like, you don't need millions of fans to play in front of Bridgestone Arena. That's like a 15,000 seat venue. You could do what Mike does where like, you're only going to do one show in a year. And this could be 2 years from now. And you're like, I'm only doing one show, but it's going to be at Bridgestone. And you're going to be able to get all 15,000 of your fans to come to Nashville, and you're going to get to perform in front of an arena. If that's what you want to do, it can happen.
Yeah.
But if you want to tomorrow be playing arenas all around the world, you're probably going to sign to a label that's going to have you buy onto it, somebody else's tour. You're going to be the opener. You're going to end up leaving it and not having any real fans and being exhausted and being,
Yeah, I feel like you never really know until you're there, right? It's like this thing of you think, you know, it's going to be this one way and it's going to feel this way. But I think people get wake-up calls when they're in this business that's like, oh, maybe this isn't exactly what I thought it would be or what I want. So I feel like all you can do really and all I'm trying to do is just like not only just like put in the daily work, but also put in the daily work on, you know, just like my mental and why I'm doing this. And you asked me a question, and we'll start to cap off, but you asked me a question recently that I answered on the spot, but I really decided that I needed to go back in and like answer this question for myself because you asked me the question.
Can I ask it to you now and you answer it?
I literally I wrote it down on an airplane.
Let's go.
A week after you asked me.
You do it.
Because I didn't like the answer that I gave you because I felt like I answered it how I felt like I should. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
And like, no offense, but like this question to ask someone, can you ask the question?
Yeah, totally. And this is also just part of my ethos. This is like, I did it at Media Days and I did it because somebody wanted to make like a documentary about me. And
I'm going to find it while you're talking. Okay.
For the first time I allowed somebody to, the whole documentary was about this question because this guy's hypothesis was that nobody actually knew who I was. He found out that I had been scraping the internet. I misspelled my name with 2 B's so people couldn't find me. I was deleting articles that Forbes and Business Insider and people were putting up. I didn't tell my parents about my Grammys until last year when the documentary was coming about. Like I didn't tell people about shit. But for me, it was because your Wikipedia, your list of accomplishments don't define you. So when I talk with artists, I'll say something along the lines of, a lot of times artists, their whole identity gets caught up in being an artist.
Yes.
And without using the term artist or using labels like a daughter, girlfriend, anything like that, who are you?
Yeah. Yeah, so like, I don't know, I'm rereading this now and I'm like, this is so corny what I wrote. I was like on an airplane. But who are you outside of being an artist? I'll kind of read some of it. I'm scared because I haven't read this. I was asked this recently. It's the question that for my whole life up until now kind of scared me to ask myself because I didn't know. Maybe I still don't really know. I answered the person who asked me in the way that I felt like I should. But tonight, a few days from the new year, for the first time, I wanted to figure out the answer for myself. Why now? Well, many thought spirals led to this. It began why I still struggle with partying. My family's concerned with that. It's making me question it. Why do I love to escape? What am I trying to escape? The first thought that comes to my mind is the intense pressure I feel around my career. Like, this is what I have to do. I have to make something out of myself because I have an amazing talent, but also because I said I would do this and this is what I chose. So there's no going back. And just doing it isn't enough because I'm already doing it. I want to be mega successful, but I say that and sometimes I wonder if I really do. So tonight I asked myself, what if I just stopped putting pressure on myself to do music? I want to make music because my soul is called to it, because I feel like that's the funnest and most important thing in the world to do in that moment, because I'm inspired. And hustle culture would argue this. There's no such thing as motivation. Sure, but trying to force myself every day isn't really working either. All year, for years, I feel like I've been trying to force myself. And really, where has it gotten me? One step forward, two steps back. I've never just woken up and asked myself, what would make you happy to do today? So I kind of wrote more about that. And then I said, okay, so who am I? I love life. I don't like going to bed at night. And I like being up early because I look forward to living every day. I love experiencing the beauty and juiciness of my day today. Colors are super vivid. Smells are poignant. Everything I observe has meaning. My emotions are wildly deep, whether it's the highs of bettering myself and seeing results, falling in love, connecting with a new friend, or the lows of feeling down, getting my heart broken, or feeling lost and alone. Everything is so intense, and I love that. I love being with just me. I genuinely believe I can travel anywhere alone and have a blast. I don't necessarily need a companion because the biggest adventure lies between me and a new place and a new experience. Yeah, I just keep going. I don't know if I should keep going, but like, yeah.
I want you to keep. I mean,
you want me to keep going?
I want you to, but I don't know if you want to on the pod.
No, I will.
But like,
I will.
Yes.
I don't mind saying it's.
Yes.
There's not much more.
This is like, I'm not kidding. And like, if I felt emotions and could cry, like I would not be surprised if at the end of this year, this is a top 5 moment for me.
Oh,
like,
Tim, I'm gonna cry.
This is I'm literally emotional right now. Like, this is what my calling in life, I'm slowly realizing is to like push people to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
With the hope that like, I'm only asking you it because I want you to be happy. And like the fact that that question sparked this type of response and thought from you is like, that's the biggest accomplishment I could ever have in life. Like that's you please keep going, please.
Okay. So I said I don't necessarily need a companion because I love adventure. I love hearing people's stories, listening to them, and making them feel seen and understood. I love the power that I know I hold by being a great listener. I have bad sides to me, just like my dad loves to remind me that I got from him. But the depth that I crave on a daily basis is a double-edged sword. There couldn't possibly be so much good in my soul without bad. I dream of constantly experiencing new highs the best life has to offer for me. Excitement is my drug. Being at peace and locked into my health and wellness is even exciting to me. But nothing for too long. I need change. I think that's why I love chasing a music career. I think I might love the chase more than the music. I just happen to be really good at the music part. And maybe that's why I keep it at arm's length sometimes, because once the chase is over, who am I? The highs of it are so appealing to me. I genuinely believe I'm meant to handle it all. But do I need it? I'm starting to think that's not what makes me magic. I think that's already inside of me, and the chasing is feeling, not soul-driven. I want to own my energy to command everything to come to me, and I think I can. I don't need you, famous artist career. I'm already a star, unspoken, felt, and obtained. I don't need anyone to deem me what I already know in my soul that I am. You need me, and I'll remind myself of that daily. And whatever happens from there, I guess it was always meant to be. I'll enjoy it either way.
fucking drop the mic. Let's go.
Yeah.
Fucking let's go, Jade.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't like the way I answered you and it really bothered me because I was like, now he thinks that like this is my answer.
No, it's like that's the point. Like even for me, so like when I got asked that question, the dude, I was like so thrown off by it, and I was like, I'm a middleman in the music industry.
I was like, I don't know.
I like did the same thing.
Yeah.
I did my scripted answers, and this kid, I mean, like I say kid, but Shadi, you're a legend, bro. Straight up said, hey, I know I don't know you that well, but I'm gonna call bullshit right now. Yeah. I feel like you're not actually answering me and like who you are. And I go, that was the first time I sat there and I was like, I feel like what you want to hear from me is that I'm a successful entrepreneur who has Grammys and has done all this shit. But like, that's not who I am. Who I am is like a super curious person. And I will always have somebody else's best interest over myself to the point of detriment. It's my greatest strength and my biggest weakness. But I'm just super curious. And that curiosity sometimes is too much for people. I love playing devil's advocate. And sometimes people think that's combative. And like I'm questioning them.
Yeah.
But like it is. I'm just curious. Like how do you believe so much whether the earth is round or flat? Like I want to know both. Like why are you so convinced? Because I'm not convinced of anything in life. So like it forced me to be in this position where I was like, you know what? I kind of do want my story to be told. The reason I haven't yet is because I didn't want to be stripped of my humanity. But I feel like I can tell the story of Tim by bringing it back full circle to the story of Tim is that everybody, so like he asked for the documentary, like Nick D and all of my friends, some famous, including you know, Nick and others, but also some like my mom and my sister and stuff, the same who they thought Tim was. And not a single person answered about being the GMAD guy or being the Grammy guy. They were all like, he's the most selfless dude. He's like the funny guy. He's whatever. And it's like, that is who somebody is. But too often we get defined by like, I'm an artist. I have this many followers. I do this thing. And like, it was such a blessing for me for him to do that. I needed it. And like when I asked the question, it's part of the reason I like stopped posting them on socials was because like the point wasn't to put you on the spot and have it be an interview question.
It was that.
And
I
like,
swear, like
and
that
that's the point. Like that's the point. And like it wasn't just you. I mean, like shout out Eli Wilson, another great artist from the media days. But when I asked him the question, he like paused for a second and he goes, I fucking hate that question.
Yeah.
And then he just sat there for a second. He goes, I don't know who I am. Is that good enough? And
so
I was like,
though.
Dude, as a 23-year-old or 22-year-old, that's the best answer you could give.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that question. I don't know who I am.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's awesome. We're done. And then after that, I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to ask people this on camera.
Right.
I'm going to do it how I've always done it, which is in a way that we can talk through it.
Yeah.
Because it's not that simple of a question.
Yeah.
But it is something that like when the time's right, it's so freeing. Because it is part of what artist development is like you got to be good with the good of you, just like you got to be good with the insecurities in the back. And what you even said in there of like being aware of that stuff, like that's super important. It's part of being a human being. It's like that's also part of the reason love is so important. Like self-love doesn't mean I think I'm hot shit. Self-love is like I love myself unconditionally the way I love my wife. Like I don't expect her to be perfect.
Right.
So I can't look at myself expecting perfection. So what are the imperfections?
Yeah.
Can I change them? Do I need to have support systems? Are they detrimental or are they just like, hey, that's just not for me?
Yeah.
And I can pick and choose, but that awareness and vulnerability to do that is super cool. And most artists don't get there.
Yeah.
And like the fact that you are there, that's why I think that you could handle fame.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
That's why I think that like you're at successful.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any more successful than this because like the smile on your face is
Thanks.
That's success.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can't believe I just read that, by the way, guys. I never thought I'd read that to anybody, but I'm glad that I did because it's just very full circle. Like I said, when you asked me that, I was like, I want to know for me. And I think that every artist should ask themselves that and just write it out, you know? So thank you for asking me. Thank you for everything you've been doing for me so far. I really am so excited to just see what like our future holds, you know, just like as a family, as a squad over there. And I have a feeling like in 5 years, like we're going to look back and be like, oh my God, like it was all starting then, you know? So
I could not agree more.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be a part of this. And I really believe in everything you guys are doing. And you guys are changing my life. So thank you.
I mean, you have given me the biggest blessing, many in this conversation, and like I don't think you realize how much. I don't know if I'll ever be able to explain how much this conversation meant and how much you mean to Steph and I, and like you are family. I don't feel like I've done anything for you yet. I look forward to getting to do something for you, but like it's just I'm incredibly proud of you. I'm proud to be your friend. I know Steph is as well. I know the whole group team and Ryan. You are one of one, and I'm just privileged to get to experience life with you. Thanks. And I look forward to whether that's in a professional way or a personal way or both. But I'm just thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for talking.
Yes,
Thank you for all of it.
I could literally keep talking to you. So we'll have to have you back on.
I would love to. Anytime.
I would love to get you and John on, and we go through like a artist boot camp, like get your opinions for artists out there who are really like, you know what, I want to do this like independently and just kind of like build my career from the ground up. I'd love to get y'all's take on it. So I mean, and I think you guys would be fun.
John and I could talk however long this was. Let's triple it because John and I will talk.
Poor Adam, my producer. Oh, good. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. Honestly, I knew this episode was going to be just as much for me as for my viewers because I'm so glad we got to talk, and I kind of asked you a lot of questions selfishly, but hopefully a lot of people can get stuff out of it. So
well, if you stuck around to the end, we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here.
Yes, thank you. And if you're an artist out there, please go check out Grouped.
Yep, Grouped.
Group.com.
And the artistcommunity.com.
The artist community, that is a community that, they're building over there, and I'm a part of it. Everything you guys have seen me posting recently, it's the whole squad over there. So definitely go follow them. Yeah. Tim, that was so awesome. Thanks for being here. I hope you guys are inspired, and make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to grow this podcast. Subscribing helps, guys. Leave a comment, share it with any of your creative friends, and I'll see you in next week's episode. Bye,
Peace,
guys.
y'all. Much love.